Hi, this is Father Louis Scurti with Friends of the Word, the Weekday Word. I'm here with Dr. Tina Lesher, retiring professor of communication at William Paterson University. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you so much.
I welcome our guests each time, but we try to go in situ, in place, and we're here in one of the offices here at William Paterson University, where I was campus minister for 31 years. Tina, I want to have you share with the audience what it's like to be a faculty member, and then we'll talk about my experiences here and your experiences with me, and so on.
Well, I didn't come to William Paterson until I was in my 40s because this is my second career. I was in the newspaper world as a newspaper woman, and I did a lot of public relations and went back to get my doctorate when I was in my early 40s. And so then I came here 25 years ago and joined the faculty in the Department of Communication. My specialty is journalism. Right now we're in the newsroom of the Pioneer Times, which I founded and about 15 years ago, and where I've been advisor since. So it's been a good run.
And we have some featured sessions and articles from the Pioneer Times. I remember once when you were on the show, when we used to tape it here, you made a very important point, and I used that often in my homilies, and that is the first evangelists were the first journalists. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That's one of the points you made. I thought, wow.
I don't remember that, but I'm sure I probably said something
it's on
like
tape.
that. And it's on tape, and it is true. And it's just, it's funny how people don't understand how journalism is so close to other fields. For example, I'm Jesuit trained, and when I was in college, I had to minor in philosophy. No option. You had to do it. And we all thought that was crazy. Metaphysics every day, junior year, it was crazy. And I have such a great appreciation for it now because it made me think. But philosophy and journalism are close because both philosophers and journalists ask questions.
Yes.
So we have a strong tie to a lot of fields, and it's been that way forever.
That's great. Now, you do something unique besides teaching here at the university. You have a regular program in which you go to the Middle East to educate young women. Could you explain that?
I was invited as a visiting professor in 2001 to teach at Zayed University, which was a relatively new, it's in its third year then, university in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. I was in Abu Dhabi to educate the top women students in that country to be leaders of the UAE. That was right there in its mission statement. And so I taught there for a semester, and it was really interesting. I wrote articles. In fact, they were printed in the William Paterson publications. And then 5 years later, I had the opportunity to go back as a Fulbright scholar and interview women of all ages about how their lives had changed dramatically and radically in a country that went from absolute abject poverty, desert life, to extraordinary wealth because of the discovery of oil. So people my age there, if they're alive, had terrible, terrible lives until the oil came. And so I've studied that, and I've been back a number of times as a guest of the university and people in the country.
I guess we can't skirt the issue. What's your reaction to what's going on in the Middle East now, especially in reference to Christians and Syria and other places?
Well, it's upsetting to me, particularly since within the past 2 weeks we had a murder of an American teacher in Abu Dhabi, and it was shocking to everyone, particularly when they found out that the perpetrator was an Emirati woman from a big family, and I've taught people in that family. I don't know if I've taught her sisters or cousins or what. And the country is in absolute shock, but they've taken care of her family. They will be taking care of her life. And that's how the UAE is. It's a very good supporter of America. But what's happened throughout other places in the Middle East is we're having some real problems. Qatar, which we thought was great, now is hosting some of the Taliban people, well, 5 of them that Obama put there. And as you go into Iraq and Kuwait, and there are some problems that are mounting. I think the arrival of ISIS is absolutely extraordinary, and I have given a lecture or two on this. It's the first time, I think, in history, as far as I know, that we're engaging in a war, not against a country, but against an organization. And where do we go? And it's Muslims against Muslims. It's to me, it's very sad, but I am very worried that Americans are being targeted in the Middle East, and so it's not exactly the place you'd go on vacation. However, I have said, and I will say again, that I would go back to Abu Dhabi anytime because I always felt safe there.
That's great. That's great. The receptivity was wonderful. They really wanted you back.
They absolutely did, and my office and my home filled with things that they've given me. For example, I have a beautiful dress that was presented to me by the Sheikhs, the president's granddaughters, as I was leaving in 2007. Said, don't ship anything till we get there. And they said, we had this made for you. And I mean, I've had everything from diamond bracelets to, all my crystal awards for everything I did. And to this day, they continue. Every time one of them's in New York, I go in and meet them and have tea at the plaza or whatever. I'm fascinated by them because they have kept in touch with me, and I was very close to a lot of them.
That's great. One of the main issues with Pope Francis is that his prayer, and I think our prayer as well, is that not only Christians, but Christians and Muslims stand up, pray for, and do as much as possible to bring peace to the Middle East. So this kind of rapport that people like you have there continues as a family of people, as a family of mankind.
It's not true in all the Middle East countries, but in the UAE, the great leader Sheikh Zayed, who died in 2004 and was there when everything happened, when the oil came, he actually donated the money for the cathedral there and was very, very good to all religions. It's one place where you see a lot of different churches, 60 religions represented right in Abu Dhabi. And so there's never been a problem in that respect, except with Israel, where they have a tendency to remove Israel from the map, which always upset me. But overall, there's been a very good relationship between Islam and Catholics and Episcopals and Episcopalians. It's really no problem. But right now, I think the Pope, who is pretty well liked, I want to go see him when he comes to Philadelphia.
Yes.
I think that he's going to make some movements that will really help in any relationship between any religion. Seems to be. I don't know. Have you met him?
Yes, we went to Rome last March. Yes.
Oh.
Very impressive,
Wow.
And very down to earth, and just beautiful. Thank you so much for being on our show. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll have you back again.
Okay, anytime.
Thank you. God bless you, Tina.
Thank you.
This has been Father Louis Scurti with Dr. Tina Lesher here at William Paterson University Journalism Department. Is it a department? Journalism?
No, it's a communication department.
Communication department, and she's a faculty member of journalism. Keep in touch. Let me hear from you, Father Louis Scurti at hotmail.com. God bless you.